Hi all, happy Monday. Welcome to The Wife of Caesar. My name is Michel Levien, or Michel Levien, either's fine. And well, welcome again. As you know, The Wife of Caesar is Streiner's project to talk about corruption or anti-corruption using everyday words so that we can fight corruption in our day-to-day lives using a little bit more than just good intentions. Okay, as in every video, as in every episode, we will discuss a piece of news, a case, and a typology. In the piece of news, we talk about current events that are somehow related to corruption or anti-corruption. In the case, we talk about current or past cases that are related to our topics or relevant to anti-corruption, and we'll also give you our opinion. And in our typology section, we essentially teach you how to pay bribes. So let's get to it. All right, our first piece of news, because today we have two, is deals with Mr. Naasón Joaquin García. Now, for those of you who don't know, he was arrested this week for allegedly having committed several crimes. He is, to give you some context, he is the head of the religious organization known as La Luz del Mundo, or somehow roughly translated to the light of the world. Okay, what happened? Well, he is being indicted for 26 different charges of different crimes. When we say charges, we mean different instances in which you can be charged with a crime. It might be the same time, but if you commit it over and over and over, there are different charges. So here there are 26. Now, the crimes of which he is being accused are copulation with a minor, that should said minor, something else, sorry about that, with a minor, rape, statutory rape, lewd acts, conspiracy to traffic humans, horrible, because he allegedly convinced his churchgoers or church members that going against the wishes of the apostle, in this case himself, was going against God. Horrible. Also conspiracy to commit lewd acts and conspiracy to produce child pornography. Oh, also extortion. Minor crime. What is conspiracy? Conspiracy is essentially when two or more people get together and they decide or they collaborate to commit a crime. Okay. Why is this corruption? Well, we know that we've discussed several times before that corruption is the abuse of entrusted power to create improper benefit, right? So here the abuse is the coercing the victims. The entrusted powers as well, he is a cult minister, not only a cult minister, but the head of a religious organization, which gives him at least some influence over the followers. And the improper gains are the sexual acts themselves. Now, we took it upon ourselves to review the entire indictment brought by the state of California. It's a lengthy document and very, very boring, to be honest. But to be quite honest, these charges are very serious, and district attorneys are very rarely bring this type of suit unless they have substantial evidence. In our opinion, it is very likely that these crimes, at least most of these charges, will be proven in court. But it's very important to say that to this date, he has not been yet found guilty. So it would be inexact or inaccurate to say that he's guilty of these crimes. Rather, we recommend that if you refer to him, you say that he's being charged with them or he awaits trial for these crimes. Also, another note, bail has been set. Now, bail is... Think of it as an amount that you pay to the court so that you can go home and stand trial, follow your trial, your proceedings from home instead of being in jail. Now, typically judges take into consideration a few factors when setting bail. Essentially, three factors: the financial capabilities, the financial power or wherewithal of the person, the likelihood that this person might flee, so risk of flight, and the likelihood that this person may continue to commit the crimes or hurt other people. And here, in this case, the bail was set at $50 million, which should tell you a little bit about what the judge in this case thinks about these charges. But again, he has not yet been tried. Okay, on to our second piece of news. Now, this concerns Justice Arturo Medina Mora. Now, Mr. Medina Mora is a Supreme Court justice in Mexico. It is... we have the judicial power, the judicial power, and the highest court in the land has 11 judges. We call them ministers in Spanish, or justices is fine. And Mr. Medina Mora is one of them. In the course of this week, the president of Mexico, the executive power, announced that there is an inquiry into financial transactions of Mr. Medina Mora for possible money laundering. For those of you who don't know, money laundering is taking the proceeds of crime and making those proceeds seem legitimate, taking dirty money and passing it off as clean money. Okay. Now, what happened here is that the United States government informed the FIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit of Mexico, of suspicious activity in the justice's accounts. Now, what is the FIU? Well, think of it as that part of the government, of the tax offices of the government, that is in charge of following the money. They make sure that nobody is laundering money, and they analyze a lot of data to figure out who's doing improper acts. In this case, they are, at least in Mexico and in the countries that are members of the FATF, with investigating money laundering. Okay. To this date, Justice Medina has denied the actions. He sent an official letter to the media and to the Financial Intelligence Unit denying all charges and claiming them as bogus. Again, we'll have to see. Now, investigations will ensue for two reasons. Money laundering is a serious offense, obviously more so when a public official, such a high-ranking public official, is charged, and also because the president has made the accusations public. So we will very likely have some idea of what follows in the coming months, and we will keep you posted. So the big question is, why is this corruption? Well, again, corruption is the abuse of entrusted power for improper gains. And here, allegedly, the justice is abusing his power as an adjudicator to generate large amounts of money. So that's why. Awesome. So let's move on to the case. Now, today, the case that we have in our hands is the case of Mr. Gerardo Ruiz Esparza. Now, he is, to give you some context, he is the former head of the Secretariat of Communications, or SCT, as it's known in Spanish. Also involved in this case is the company OHL, now known as Aleatica. It is a Spanish company, a public company that trades in stock exchanges, and it is in the field or industry of building, construction, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. All right, so what is the case? Apparently, on or around 2015, a competing company, a competitor of OHL, allegedly made public some audio recordings. It made it public via YouTube, where Ruiz Esparza allegedly requested from OHL tourist accommodations or lodging in tourist destinations. He basically called up the executives at OHL and explained that he wanted to take holidays with his family, and asked them if they would be so kind as to furnish him and his family with luxury rooms in hotels, to which they allegedly agree. Now, even further, OHL executives allegedly offered other improper payments. Now, the thing with the lodging and accommodations in hotel rooms, that's a crime by itself, but it gets even worse. Very recently, as recently as last month, official reports were filed with federal prosecutors to denounce Ruiz Esparza for the crimes committed, and because allegedly OHL, now again known as Aleatica, paid 1.4 million euros to Gerardo Ruiz Esparza, who allegedly used that money to improperly influence campaigns for local government. So it's quite ugly and quite sticky. To this date, no indictments have been brought forth, only the reports, and he is not standing trial. Neither OHL nor Ruiz Esparza himself are standing trial. So obviously we will let you know as soon as any new developments form, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Okay, so let's move on to our typology. Today we have the typology of liquidated damages. All right, so in this typology, let's say that the government signs a contract with a public contractor. A public contract is executed or signed. Okay, now liquidated damages are set within this contract. Think of liquidated damages as a clause that establishes a set or a determinable amount, a calculable amount, that has to be paid in case of non-compliance. So if someone makes a promise and then doesn't keep that promise, then he or she has to, one, compensate for the loss, make whole the other person, but also pay this specific amount. So liquidated damages are sort of a penalty to deter people from welching on contracts, from not fulfilling their word, not keeping their word. Okay, now, so the government and the other party set liquidated damages in this contract. The government then breaches the contract intentionally. Now, this contract might be a proper, adequate contract, or it might be, plagued with flaws. It might be irregular or null. After that, the contract is terminated because it's, again, the government fails to comply, so the contract is terminated. So the other party is entitled to collect the liquidated damages. Now, the government must pay that money to the contractor. The contractor is paid for not doing anything, for just sitting by. And then when the contractor receives his or her money, then she kicks back or pays back a percentage to the corrupt public officials. So essentially, the entire thing is a simulation. We pretend to sign a contract, then we pretend to breach it, but then I have to pay you the actual penalty, the penalty, which is very real, and then you'll give me a percentage of that penalty. Now, this typology is kind of tricky, though, because it's very hard to keep track of which contracts are being properly fulfilled or performed and which aren't. So it's kind of hard to actually make out when someone abuses liquidated damages to pay bribes. So keep an eye out for them. Okay, so that's it for today. As usual, thank you for joining us at the Wife of Caesar. My name is Michel Lebien, or Michel Lebien, either's fine. And I will leave you with this, as I do with every episode. Please blow the whistle when you witness corruption. Every corrupt act should be denounced, but do so safely. If you're not sure whether or not what you're witnessing is corruption, or you're not sure that you're entirely safe, don't do anything. Reach out to someone who knows how to help you. Feel free to reach out to us at info@streiner.mx, and we will be glad to help you. But above all, stay safe. Okay, thank you, and happy Monday.